Chapter 47. The Remorseful Chen. 1,000 armies occupied the land of the 100 longevity peach tree. That devastating scene not only left the defending group of gigantic cloud beasts in a sorry state. Everywhere under the heavens, there were countless pairs of eyes staring, watching the recklessness of the 1,000 armies. Everyone held their breath. Everyone stared at Gu Hai, all shocked beyond words, as if they wanted to carve Gu Hai's appearance into their hearts. Above a square, the Grand Elder and the Bodhisattva of merciful life were both silent for a while at this moment. Gu Hai, the Grand Elder said in a cold voice, "Observe the 9 sons of chess. This 9th son is the 9th son of this generation, right? Seems a bit disappointing, huh?" Mercy Life Bodhisattva said curiously. The Grand Elder was silent for a while and did not speak. And at this moment, a group of people quickly came from the back. "Great Elder, what should we do? The 100 longevity peach tree has been occupied by outsiders." "Great Elder, let's make a move." "Grand Elder, the 100 longevity peach tree is the only longevity plant in my Yichon pavilion." The crowd was anxious. The 100 longevity peach tree was taken. They were even more shocked and furious. But the Great Elder did not allow to make a move. All of them could only come to beg the Great Elder. The Great Elder looked at the sky and was silent for a while. "The 100 longevity peach tree that Xiaoju lost, he will find it back himself," the Grand Elder coldly said, sort of rejecting the request of the people behind him. "Great Elder, that's the 100 longevity peach tree. We..." "All right, go down," the Grand Elder let out a cold shout. The people looked at each other with a look of resentment and looked up at the ancient sea in the sky. "Huh, what is the ancient sea doing?" Bodhisattva Mercy Life revealed a hint of surprise. The top of a mountain peak. The Great Brightness King God led a group of sun black-robed people to look at the high sky together. "It really seems like, Great Brightness King God, what that person is holding in his arms really seems like Who. Yes, and it looks as if Who is dying. What should we do? Doming Wong Shen. Should we make a move? Great Brightness King God." The crowd of sun black-robed people shouted impatiently. "Shut up." The Great Brightness King God let out a cold shout. The crowd froze slightly. Yes, we were too talkative. The Great Brightness King God's insightful and wise eyes see more thoroughly than we do, a sun black-robed man immediately said in shame. The Great Brightness King God ignored it and stared at the sky. Everyone looked at where the 100 longevity peach tree was. Suddenly, when they saw Gu Hai make a move, the crowd of sun black-robed men were suddenly surprised. "Oh, what is that person doing?" Meng Tai, the 9 dukes, and a group of others who were out of the game stared resentfully at Gu Hai, the 100 lifespan peach tree. It was just snatched by him. The crowd was filled with resentment. But the next moment, Meng Tai stared in surprise. "What? Gu Hai, he's crazy. What is he doing?" They saw thousands of troops surrounding the 100 longevity peach tree, and Gu Hai was situated in a general, his head holding Gu Hai up to the 100 longevity peach tree. "Xiaoru, don't sleep, wake up, don't sleep," Gu Hai shouted. As he spoke, he probed his hand to pick a watermelon-sized golden peach. Boom! The golden peach was plucked, and instantly, dazzling colored light blossomed from the place of that tree branch. Gu Hai ignored the colored light, and instead sent the golden peach to Xiaoru's mouth. "Yun Gong," Xiaoru weakly murmured. "Open your mouth, eat, eat," Gu Hai shouted. Xiaoru closed her eyes and unconsciously opened her mouth. The golden peach placed at the place of Xiaoru's mouth. As if it melted in the mouth, it steeply transformed into a stream of golden liquid that flowed into Xiaoru's mouth. Swoosh! A peach was drunk by Xiaoru as if it was water. Xiaoru's figure trembled as a stream of haze light was released from her body. "Gu Hai, he's crazy. That's a golden peach. He gave it to a demon servant to eat." Meng Tai pounded his chest from afar. "How dare you, Gu Hai, the 9th prince, was also anxious for a while. The 100 longevity peach tree would only bear 10 fruits in 100 years, and only 10 in 100 years. And this was given to that demon servant to eat. The lowliest demon servant. Helmsman, that's the 100 longevity peach. Chen Tianshan watched blearily from not far away, impatient. Gao Xianzi, however, was suddenly pondering, perhaps, following Gu Hai is also a good choice. In the 4 directions of the sky, countless cultivators were wide-eyed, and countless outsiders looked at Gu Hai with red eyes. This ancient sea was too extravagant, right? The extravagance was still behind. The 100 longevity peach was a longevity-increasing elixir, not a healing elixir. As Gu Hai watched Xiaoru's body tremble slightly, she seemed to be getting better, so her face was immediately happy. And she probed her hand to pick the second golden peach once again. Boom! The second golden peach was plucked and sent to Xiaoru's mouth in the same way. Between Xiaoru's trance, she opened her mouth and swallowed it. The peach did not have a peach kernel. It instantly melted in the mouth and quickly entered Xiaoru's abdomen. Another one. Another one. Gu Hai, you loser sinner. Meng Tai glared from afar amidst whispered curses. He had fought to the death and played a lot of tricks to not get 100 longevity peach. But you, Gu Hai, actually gave it to her to devour over and over again for a little demon servant that you had casually saved. That's the 100 lifespan peach take out. But the value of the city how many people for it crazy? But you feed a small demon, you're a loser. Countless cultivators below also drunk at this moment. Can you be more extravagant? Above a square below. Great Elder, if you don't make a move, the 100 longevity peach will be picked empty. Great Elder, make a move. Shut up. The Grand Elder droned coldly. The crowd bitterly closed their mouths and looked at the sky. A strand of resentment flashed in their eyes. That 100 longevity peach, even if a disciple of the Yitian Pavilion, it would be very, very difficult to get one. But now, it was being spoilt by an outsider in a non-stop manner. Can the picture not be so bad? This ancient sea, with a devilish heart and a compassionate heart, it's really a complicated person. Bodhisattva Mercy Life shook his head, somewhat unable to see through Gu Hai. Above a mountain peak. Great King God. That person is saving her. The 100 longevity peach. He's really willing to give it up. Yeah, to now. A third. What a surprise. Great brightness King God. If she really is who this person is. The crowd of sun-black-robed men looked at the high sky and didn't know what to say. The great brightness King God stared at the high sky and said indifferently, saving Queen Nuwa at any cost. That's an extraordinary favor. Woohoo! It's really Queen Nuwa. The crowd of sun-black-robed men were instantly overjoyed and said, it's also been found, but for this person to go so far out of his way to save Empress Nuwa is making it difficult for me, to dispose of her. The great brightness King God said indifferently. Great brightness King God. What were you going to dispose of? The crowd of sun-black-robed people were puzzled. Kill them all in one go. The great brightness King God said in a cold voice. High in the sky, it had been fed 3 golden peaches before Xiaoru slowly woke up. Not far away, Chen Tianshan was torn to death, and at the moment, his face was depressed. Snap! Chen Tianshan slapped himself in the face. What for, Senior Chen? Gao Xianzi looked at Chen Tianshan in confusion. Gao Xianzi, you just guessed that there was a change in the Carefree Valley, and that Xiaoru should have been protecting the secluded helmsman before she was injured. Chen Tianshan stared at Gao Xianzi with red eyes. Indeed, the Carefree Valley is still ablaze with fire, so it should be close. Xiaoru's injury must have been to protect the secluded helmsman. Gao Xianzi nodded. Snap! Chen Tianshan slapped himself once again. Gao Xianzi, why do you think I'm so stupid? 300 longevity peaches, 3 of them. We've been robbing for so long, we almost fell to our deaths, and she, Xiaoru, just protects the helmsman for a bit, and she gets 300 longevity peaches. Why is it so unfair? Why was I so obsessed with robbing? How did I get spooked? Slap. Another slap. Gao Xianzi. If I hadn't rushed to come and grab it, if I had kept guarding the helmsman, wouldn't I be the one eating the 100 longevity peach right now? Slap. Another slap. Gao Xianzi. Benefactor. I'm fine. Thank you, benefactor. 100 longevity peach. Yun-gong. Xiaoru's life is cheap. It's not worth it for Yun-gong to save me. Xiaoru was moved amidst tears. Whether it's worth it or not, that's up to me. If you save me, can't I save you? Guhai. I am not so bad that I can't even spare 3 peaches. Guhai laughed. Thank you, benefactor. Xiaoru bit her lips, gratitude in her eyes. Turning her head to look at the 4 directions, Xiaoru could also guess how great the favor that the benefactor had given herself was from the reddened and jealous eyes of the 4 directions of cultivators. She was just a small demon servant, looking after the medicinal field, but her benefactor was actually so kind to her. Xiaoru choked for a moment, not knowing what to say. Guhai gently placed Xiaoru on the Cloud Beast General's head. Only then did she take a closer look at the 100 longevity peach tree. 100 longevity peach tree. Guhai's eyes narrowed slightly. This was a heavy treasure of the Game Heaven Pavilion, a treasure that was famous all over the world, and it was his own at this moment. No, why didn't the Yichon Pavilion people have any reaction? Guhai looked down at the 4 directions. Guhai, the 100 longevity peach tree, is my Yichon Pavilion's treasure. If you dare to move it again, you'll never be able to walk out of this realm. From afar, the 9th Duke glared and said in a cold voice. Guhai looked down at the colorful 9th Duke. His eyes narrowed slightly. It seems that the Game Heaven Pavilion still cares about this 100 longevity peach tree. It's good that it cares. A cold smile appeared at the corner of Guhai's mouth. He looked down at the 9 Dukes, and then looked at the 4 directions of the world. To high up in the sky, there were too many views below. Guhai couldn't tell where the Game Heaven Pavilion headquarters was for a moment, but nothing mattered. Probing his hand, he touched the trunk of the 100 longevity peach tree. Guhai suddenly said in a cold voice, "Listen up, Game Heaven Pavilion disciples." As Guhai opened his mouth, the cloud beast underneath him also spoke steeply. "Listen, disciples of the Yichon Pavilion." The Cloud Beast General out a loud shout that shook the 9 heavens and rolled in waves of sound, spreading to the 4 directions of the world in general, as everyone stared at Guhai. From today, I, Guhai, will give the Yichon Pavilion 10 days. After 10 days, if I don't see the unborn, I will uproot the 100 longevity peach tree, chop it up and burn it. The Cloud Beast General let out a loud cry that boomed across the world. What? The 9th Duke steeply exclaimed. Meng Tai also stared wide-eyed. Guhai, are you crazy? That's a longevity plant. Helmsman, that's a longevity plant. Chen also steeped up in alarm. The 4 directions of the sky were filled with cries of shock. This Guhai is crazy. The heaven and earth longevity plant. There weren't many of them in the entire world. He was going to destroy it. Uprooting it, chopping it up and burning it to the ground. What kind of joke is this?